Hello, in this video I'm going to run through our reasons for increasing the payload on the van, which in the UK is commonly called upplating. Now you'll notice that I'm referring to notes a lot in this video simply because I've done a bit of research using the internet and I want to be 100% sure that I relay that to you correctly. However, I must point out that I'm not legally trained in any way, shape or form, so if you're thinking of doing this job, don't take my word for it, please do your own research. Right, it's worth pointing out there are quite a few companies that offer the service of upplating, and we used one called Van Weight Engineering. I will leave their details in the description box below the video. So firstly and above all, what you need to realise is most vans in the UK are already downplated from their manufactured weight to 3,500 kilos here in the UK. This is simply because most driving licences have an upper limit of 3,500 kg. However, you can get a C1 entitlement which allows you to go up to 7,500 kg. If you passed your test before the 1st of January 1997, you'll automatically have this on your licence. If not, you'll have to take a retest to add this to your licence to enable you to go over the 3,500 kg limit needed for upplating. The C1 entitlement expires at the age of 70, however you can reclaim it by following the medical procedures required to continue that entitlement. So for this video I'm going to focus obviously on our van, which is a Fiat Ducato Maxi chassis. It was built by Fiat in Italy, and if it had gone to any other market would have been sold as a 4,000 kg van. However, like I've said before, they're downplated to 3,500 for the UK market. Upon arrival to the UK, the certificate of conformity notes that the van weighed 2,272 kilos unladen, and it was sent to S&L Motorhomes for conversion to a motor caravan. The weight of 2,272 kg left a payload of 1,228 before conversion. So it's worth noting that the 3,500 kg limit includes everything that you carry in the van, including the passenger, the driver, the fuel and any other items that you've got on board. Now what you'll find is most van converters in the UK will give you a standard weight for one of their vans based on it having no extras fitted. Example being, a standard S&L Apollo comes in at 3,050 kgs when fully converted. However, that conversion does not include things like extra solar panels, awning rails, etc, etc. So a standard van will give you a 450 kg payload. However, the more and more you add from standard, the less and less payload you'll end up with. So because there's a lot of extras fitted on this van, we knew that we were already eating into the 450 kg payload advised by S&L. We thought the best thing to do would be to get a true running order weight of the van based upon what we carry on a day-to-day basis for a short weekend away. Now, as part of the upplating procedure anyway, you need to provide the company with a waybridge certificate, so we thought we'd start off with getting the van weighed with the bare minimum amount of stuff we need in it to go for a weekend away. So we visited the weighbridge with a full tank of diesel, 3/4 of a tank of gas, half a tank of AdBlue, all the crockery and toiletries, some ramps, a hookup lead, but no clothes and no food. Upon arrival at the weighbridge, I got out of the vehicle so that the vehicle itself was weighed without me in it. Obviously my weight can fluctuate and I know my weight, so I can substitute that from the total. Now this is where the part gets quite shocking. Upon going to see the guy in the weighbridge office, we found that the van weighed 3,470 kgs as described without me on board, leaving a grand total of 30 kgs payload. I knew straight there and then that as soon as I left the weighbridge we'd be overweight because, let's face it, I do not weigh 30 kgs. So once we'd got the true running weight of the vehicle, it was now time to contact Van Weight Engineering and give them all the details they required to start the upplating procedure. If you go onto their website, there's a document that you can download and print, and on this document lists everything that they need to know. So they require pictures of your wheels and tyres, of your suspension, of your brakes. They also need any dimensions of the vehicle such as the height, the length, the width, the track, and also your newly found true running weight, a copy of the waybridge certificate. they need a copy of your V5, and if you've got it, the CFC that the van was supplied with from new. Once they've got all the paperwork and the pictures that you've sent, they'll come back to you with a potential weight for your van. In our case, we knew that we were already going to be okay with 4,000 kg as the van was built as standard by Fiat for that, but what we wanted to do was go as high as we could. They came back with a weight of 4,250 kgs. This was deemed to be as high as we could potentially go due to the fact that although the wheels and tyres on this vehicle are really good looking, the tyres let us down in the fact that they are actually lesser specification than a standard van tyre. We were quite happy with the 4,250 kgs, although we'd like to have gone higher, but 4,250 gives us a potential payload of over 750 kgs, so we can live with that. Once you're happy with the figure provided, to proceed any further, you then need to pay for the service. At the point of recording this video, which is early April 2024, the price we were quoted was £267, all in, no hidden charges, including VAT and everything else. We should also point out at this point in time that the waybridge ticket cost us £20, although different waybridges in different counties will cost you different prices. There is a list of all waybridges available to the public on the government website, and also a link to that from Van Weight Engineering's website as well. Van Weight Engineering were pretty quick with their replies because obviously they do everything via email, and within 24 hours we'd got all the details back that we required to send to the DVLA. We used special delivery for that because we wanted to make sure it got there, because we were sending our original V5 along with the weight certificate that he'd supplied for us and his, you know, signed documents. So because it was a sort of legal requirement, we didn't want that to get lost in the post, and we figured the price of £7.30 was well worth paying. Right, so once all the paperwork had been collated and sent to the DVLA, the waiting game then began. Now, the new chassis plate came really quickly. Van Weight Engineering basically outsourced that to a company, and within a week we'd got that with us, but obviously up until we get the original V5 we couldn't fit that because legally we're still classed as a 3.5 ton vehicle. After 14 days from initial receipt of all the paperwork at the DVLA, which we'd obviously checked because we'd sent special delivery, we noticed online that the van was now showing as 4,250 kgs, although we'd had no official paperwork back yet. So a week after it appeared online as being done, the new V5 arrived, and we were now completely legal to stick the plate on and be classified as a 4,250 kg van. So it's worth pointing out at this time that once you've gone over 3,500 kgs, you're now no longer a light goods vehicle and have entered into the band of a private heavy goods vehicle. There are some bonuses of this, of course, one of them being that straight away the tax band decreases. So originally we were paying £320 when we were classed as a light goods vehicle, and once we were re-registered at 4,250 and became a private heavy goods vehicle, our tax went down to £165. So once we got all the paperwork back, we fitted the new VIN plate and we're ready to go as a private heavy goods vehicle. So as with every conversion, there are going to be pluses and minuses. Now the pluses we've already discussed is the reduction in the road tax to almost 50% difference. The minuses could be that you may incur higher ferry costs, you may have an issue with certain breakdown companies, and the big contentious one is the speed limits. Now most people will agree that the legal speed limits for a motor caravan are the same as a car, but only if your unladen weight is less than 3050 kg. Now because our unladen weight was already higher than that, we've chosen to drive at goods vehicle speed limits. Now the speed limits stipulated for a motor caravan, being the same as a car, are 60 mile an hour on a single carriageway unless stipulated any different, 70 mile an hour on a dual carriageway unless stipulated different, and 70 mile an hour on a motorway. Now for anything over 3050 and including heavy goods vehicles, which we are now, it's 50 miles an hour on a single carriageway unless stipulated as different, and 60 mile an hour on a dual carriageway. we can no longer do 70 miles an hour on a dual carriageway in this vehicle, but we can still go 70 on a motorway. Right, so even though we're still registered as a motor caravan, albeit a PHGV one, I think that we're not safe to do car speed limits in this vehicle, and I want to really address that again. The law states that you've got to be 3050 kg maximum unladen weight, which we're not, and I believe 3500 kg is the upper weight limit anyway for car speed limits, which we're now not classified at anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, our speed limits are now the lower ones. If you think I'm wrong, then please let me know in the comments below, but we're certainly going to be sticking to those lower speed limits, and we've set all the warnings on the dashboard to reflect that, just because we're not used to driving at the lower speeds, certainly on single carriageways. Right, so I'm going to wrap this video up here. I think that's about all I can tell you. If there is anything that you think I've missed, or that there's anything that you can add, then please add it in the comments below, and we'll try and help anybody out that watches this video in the future. I would like to point out that if all this video has done is made you think, I wonder if I'm overloaded, I'd urge you to go to a weighbridge for the price of what can only be up to 20 quid just to get a true weight. It may save you getting pulled up and getting fined. Certainly if you look at this picture that I'm going to put up on the screen now, this was our van at Christmas just last year, so 2023. We had got so much stuff on board, it was unbelievable. We were away for over a week. We got food, drink, loads and loads of stuff, and yet if you look at the van, it doesn't even look overloaded. So ignorance is not bliss, I think, in this point. I think the best thing to do, if in any doubt, get your van weighed and look at upplating. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this has helped, and I'll catch you on another video.